Hello, and welcome to Wild After Dark. I'm your host, Tim Myers, and this is BG, or Big Guy, or Boogie Man. This is Boogie Man, my dog, named after one of my good Minnesota friends, and also named after Derek Bugard. Here on Wild After Dark, we're going to do a quick little recap of the week, talk about all things wild, and also I'm going to give you some of my opinions, some of my top 5 lists on everything Minnesota Wild. So, to start, the Wild are 5-2-1, off to a very good start. I just came in from watching the Wild lose 5-4. Darcy Kemper, although it was only 5-4, Darcy Kemper let up 11 goals in the first period and brought Dubnyk in, and they almost pulled it off. Zach Parise scoring one of the season's best goals. We'll get to that footage in a minute. But I just want to start with talking about how the season began. Devan Dubnyk got a gigantic contract, was a little surprised by that. Do not think it was the most responsible move for Chuck Fletcher. Yes, Dubnyk was fantastic. Dubnyk was everything. Dubnyk really was everything last season. But not for once have I ever thought that Devan Dubnyk was the future goaltender of this franchise. We still don't have one. I'm sorry, you're going to disagree with a lot of things I say, but I just haven't seen it from him. Sometimes he's great and sometimes he's horrible. We need someone who can be always good and sometimes fantastic. Dubnyk is not the guy. Kemper, he's not the goal. I mean, the game's over, but somehow they just scored 3 more goals on him. I don't believe that Dubnyk is the great goaltender of the future, but he could be. So, that being said, I just want you to know how I feel about Dubnyk. Listen, I support all things Wild, but I'm not just going to say, oh, he's the greatest thing since Manny Fernandez and sliced bread. If he's not, he's not, but he could be. Hopefully, Dubnyk will pick it up. Here, week after week, I will give you the Dubnyk report, whether I like him or I don't like him. So every episode, you're going to get the Dubnyk report. Tonight's Dubnyk report, not good. All right, moving right along, ladies and gentlemen, we have something that is going to cause a lot of debate, and it also let you know who I am and kind of what I like in my hockey players. And I'm going to give you my top 5 favorite current Minnesota Wild players. So my top 5 favorite players currently on the Wild. You'll notice that several people are left out, and it's for a good reason. Let's start with number 5, Ryan Suter. I mean, he almost didn't even make the list, to be honest with you, because I don't think he played as well as he could have in the playoffs. I saw him get almost taken advantage of in the playoffs. A couple times in the last game against Chicago, it was kind of inappropriate to watch. Like they were doing things to him and he seemed to not even know that they were there. But all in all, I like how solid he is. I like that he looks like Superman. He's got that chiseled chin, and he's just a solid, good dude. One of the best defensemen to ever play the game, but still coming in at number 5. My number 4 favorite current Wild player is Dumba. This season, there was a couple instances where he's getting a little too flashy, a little too big for his britches. Like, it's your second season, chill. You're going to be okay. Stop trying to do too much. I think he's, it's kind of like we opened the birdcage after his first season and we were like, okay, go fly around, but don't go too crazy, and he just took off. He makes some immature decisions at times with certain passes, certain shots, and he just takes off a little bit too much, but I believe that he'll grow up. We all do. But as far as a fantastic, just gutsy, grinding, balls-to-the-wall player, he's fantastic. My number 3 favorite player of all time is Mikko Koivu. Even though this season he seems to be a little tougher, I mean, he's always just kind of been solid, but he seems a little pissed off. I think he knows his days are numbered, but he's still performing at his peak. And
as far as a captain, a silent leader, and I have never seen him drop the gloves, but there's certain times out there that it looks like his gloves are going to fly off his hands and he's just going to start cracking some skulls. Haven't seen it, but it's that fiery and that competitiveness that it just makes me love him. And number 2, Charlie Coyle. Now here's the thing. Charlie Coyle is my second favorite Wild player. Used to be my first for a very long time. But someone's got to wake the kid up. Get him up out of bed. He is too big, too tough, too fast, and too talented to be going 80 miles per hour. He should be going 101 miles per hour. Someone needs to stick a knife in his side, or stick a little pricker in his foot, just to get him angry enough, just to get him you know what I mean? He's missing that fire of Dumba. He's missing that fire of Koivu. So, I'll light a fire under Charlie Coyle's ass. I will. As long as it's okay with the Minnesota Wild, and as long as Charlie Coyle is okay with it. Now, trust me, this is going to work out for the best of the team. I promise. Let me light a fire under his ass. Now, I don't mean like a pep talk. I would like to actually light a fire under his ass. I think that would help him really perform at a higher level. So, Wild, Charlie Coyle, give me a call. Again, huge fan. Don't mean to hurt anyone or any disrespect, but I will light that fire. And my number 1 favorite Wild player currently playing on the Minnesota Wild is Zach Parise. That is the definition of what my favorite player is. Hard-nosed, never stops working, never stops skating, and leads by example. He doesn't have to say a word. He could cut off his tongue and zip his mouth closed. He would never have to say anything, and he would make people better just by how hard he works. And it's great to see a player, because a lot of the players who work really hard are kind of the players who aren't that good. Like Cal Clutterbuck was one of my favorite players ever, and then he left us. We'll never forget him. But he had to work so hard because he wasn't really that good. So he had to go faster and harder, and that allowed him to play at the NHL at a pretty good level. But Zach Parise is everything you'd ever want. He's the perfect hockey player. He's the natural. I don't like the little dancey, little fast movie guys. No. Forget it. I like Parise. I like Coyle. I like Koivu. I like Dumba. I like Suter. They all have that hockey power, that hockey presence that I'm looking for. So that's it for the first episode. It's a little long this time. They'll be a little bit shorter going forward. But before I end the first episode, I need to let you know a couple things. Number 1, I play a lot of NHL hockey on EA Sports. Been playing it my whole life. And I don't know, 2009, 10, I randomly drafted some strange player from some Swedish team. His name was Thomas Wandell. And every time I use Thomas Wandell on this game, he scores a goal. On screen, on the video game, Thomas Wandell is the greatest hockey player I have ever known. Every time I play my brothers, he scores the game-winning goal. I'm not kidding you. It's incredible. If I'm playing my brothers, Wandell will score a goal. Now, in real life, he played for the Stars. In the AHL, came up for a few games in the NHL, sent back down, and now he's over in Russia or Afghanistan or somewhere playing. But I'm telling you, this guy's a phenomenal player. The Wild need to draft Thomas Wandell. This is not based on any sort of real fact. This is not based on any sort of science or common sense. This isn't based on statistics. It's really just based on the fact that he's really good on the video game, so I think he'd be really good in real life. Draft him. He's in Kazakhstan or I don't know, Bermuda or something playing hockey. No one's watching him. Draft him. Take a chance. That's how every episode's going to end, is just with a quick draft Thomas Wandell. This is so you know what I'm talking about. So that's it for the first episode of Wild After Dark. I am Tim Myers. Draft Thomas Wandell. Good night, Wild fans.